Hi, welcome to It's a Mad Mad Homestead. Good day. So, the Grand L Series cab version 3560 is an awesome piece of equipment. Unlike true industrial grade Kubota TLB units, however, the Grand L3560 takes a few liberties with its design to allow a Grand L cab version to function with all of the other implements that can truly make it a multifunction tool. The BH92 on the Grand L series or on the M5400 Cab Series requires that you use a seat on the backhoe versus a dual use seat in some of the other TLB units. The unit itself is not large enough on the interior to provide for a dual use seat for both tractor and backhoe, and I also believe that there would be some additional costs with the fact that the air ride seats are an available option. It would be kind of a tricky issue to make all of that available to a user with the same seat on the inside of a tractor, of a Grand L Series tractor, not to mention how that design would be made and how difficult it might be to access the backhoe from within the cab. So it does put some limitations on the use of the backhoe with the Grand L Series in inclement weather, but it does allow for the flexibility of having a heavy-duty 9-foot 2-inch excavation depth backhoe with plenty of power for an extended set of tasks. Having put probably 50 hours on the backhoe and more than 400 hours on the Grand L in the last 14 months in all kinds of environmental and vegetation conditions, I've found some areas on the backhoe that could use some changes by both Kubota and by myself. Items I will adjust for more durability and comfort are the mounting locations of the factory rear caution flashing / turn signal lights and the location of the seat for the BH92. Very easy to do. As for Kubota, they could make changes to the backhoe extension bracket, which is necessary when installing the BH92 on cab versions of the Grand L. That the BH92 mounts to, whether it's the M Series or the Grand L. I'm not sure whether that fits the 4701. It may, but that's not a cab version at this point. The extension mount, in order to make it less a point of constant maintenance via torque specs, could be addressed by Kubota with welding stop point fitting abutments to the extension that prevent the torsional slip at those mating boss surfaces due to the weak tolerances on the bolts and the hole pattern that they use. It's good to mention here that the torque specifications that Kubota recommends for that extension bracket do not provide torsional flexion prevention at this connecting point. There is way too much of a moment about this point between the backhoe forces and the solid tractor frame mount to prevent that movement with a basic compression style assembly mechanism such as nuts and bolts bolted through those frame assemblies. It just can't prevent that torsional force from the backhoe. Additionally, Kubota could provide closer tolerances on the bolt holes and bolts themselves that complete the mating surfaces of the bracket to the BH92 base frame assembly. Either could work as a solution to this continual movement wear situation while under load. And I have found that in using the backhoe on the tractor, that the forces that the backhoe produce if I'm digging and then lifting actually move that whole assembly. It rocks back and forth, and that's at proper torque specifications. So it's a point of wear, it's a point of continual flexion. It's just going to happen unless there's something else done there. Okay, so let's get to the video.
So today, I have a couple of minutes. I'm just going to move the seat back. It's going to give me about 2 inches of clearance right here. As you can see, that's pretty close to get a rake through. Yeah, I'm always hitting this rubber and tearing it. You can see that. So 2 inches will make a big difference. I'm going to take these bolts out, see if I can move it back 2 inches. Make sure I don't have any clearance issues back here. I don't think there's going to be any. My head might hit the wiper here, but other than that, I think I'll be fine. Just 6 bolts. Not a big deal. They're not torqued. Nothing special about these. They look like they're hardened bolts because there's a lot of pivot on this seat, a lot of what they call moment of inertia, or moment, not of inertia, just a moment. So let's see what happens when we pull this back. We got one more, which is probably why it didn't fall on me and hurt me. Go ahead and lift that out. See if it lines up. And it does. That is awesome. See if this lines up. Ooh, look at that. There is an issue. It does hit the weld. Hits the weld mark there. So I'm not sure how we're going to fare with this. I guess we've yet to see. If I need to put something in there to support that. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, there's a little clearance issue here. You can see this right here, clearance issue. So in order to fix that, I would have to put something underneath here about the same distance. You know, I don't have a problem doing that, just as a standoff. Let's see what happens if I do that. A couple washers to make it. What? I don't see it. I just out of the corner of my eye I catch it. Okay, so this is the finished product of moving that. So I gained about 1.5 inches. And now I've got this much room here, which is pretty much enough room to step through with my leg. Before, I could never step through. I would hit. I had to physically pick my foot up over the top and go down the other side. Now I can walk through, which is pretty nice. I've got this much room between me instead of this much room. This is an amazing difference. A big change, big change, especially getting off the backhoe. It's very much, that's a very nice move. The other thing I did this morning was this. These lights. They used to be out here. They're on a bracket that's about 10 inches long. This bracket was pivot out. Bracket would pivot out along this line and come out here. So it was way out here, and it was forever catching on branches, ripping the plastic covers off. I've lost 2 of these covers because they would hit branches. So now I brought them right back in line. So folks are going to say, you know, that's illegal, you can't drive on the road with that, you don't see the flasher on the front. I don't know if that's legal or not. All I know is I've got flashers right here. So if I've got flashers here, and I've got a portion of a flasher available there, I've got a flasher here on the front, and I've got a portion of a flasher available in the back. And why do I need to have that hanging over the edge, catching on stuff whenever I need it? I have full view from the back. Makes no sense why that wouldn't be acceptable. And total clearance so that if I'm going through trees, overgrowth, whatever, the only thing that's in the way now is that and that. And really, the cab pretty much hits first before anything else. So I think that's a massive improvement over the kind of frustration I was forever experiencing when I was out using this tractor in an area where there's low-hanging tree branches. Those 2 things, very big issues for me. Every time I got off of this seat, I said, man, this is tough. I even got to the point where before I would get off, I would reach down, pull the seat down so I would get that room to walk away. And then when I got back on the backhoe, I'd have to pull it up again. But that's good for me. One issue that I had are these bolts here in this extension frame. I haven't seen these loosen up. 1, 2 sets there, but this is an add-on bracket. From here to here is an add-on bracket, which is necessary when you have a cab versus an open station. With an open station, this backhoe is back further. It actually mounts 6 inches further. So this frame member that bolts on here is not used in an open station. You simply have this, which is welded to the backhoe, attached directly to the tractor. There are no moving middleman parts in here like this. This adapter to extend this out is a point of failure. It is a point of wear for this backhoe. Whenever I'm driving, I can see it kind of flex a little bit. Whenever I'm digging, I can see it flex. Now they say you got to torque those down. Well, I had them torque them, and when I brought it home, it did the same thing. So I think that's an issue that is not going to have a resolution by Kubota. Putting this all the way together. I don't like this. I think, in my opinion, this is sloppy work. I've got 4 bolts on here, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. None of which need to be painted. So what concerns me is that bolt came from somewhere that wasn't right. So the technician, when he did this, either lost the bolt or he took a bolt out of someplace else and put it on here, and now where's the bolt that's supposed to go someplace else? I don't know. But this is sloppy craftsmanship on a brand new machine with less than freaking 20 hours, and on a brand new backhoe with less than 5.